Isn't Nick a Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchorbaby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchorbaby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You're the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchorbaby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. It's a lovely Thursday today. About to get the show going here. Going to be getting into a bit of this GOP mess. They've made a mess of their elections. There's some things happen, basically. They're fighting about abortion. We're going to get into some of these things here. You know, they also had a debate. You know, there's politics going on in the country. You know, there's like... They're politicking. They're making decisions. They're debating about our lives. Did you forget? A couple amazing moments, too, in last night's debate. Very interesting. I do want to get into it. I know that Carver, I'm going to look bad for Carver here in the chat. He's going to be, he put to rest the accusations that I'm Ramaswamy 2024. Uh-oh. They might be coming back. What's up, Ohio Sentinel, Mildew Grew, TJ Hilliard, and everybody supporting me on Rumble. Rumble.com/American Anchorbaby. What's up? And DLive. What's up, DLive? DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. Nice. You know, the ladies at the Skim. You gotta love the ladies at the Skim. The snarky ladies at the Skim, always with their finger on the pulse of American politics. They said, Ramaswamy wanted to stand out. They write it. He wanted to stand out. Oh, he just wants to stand out in that cute, smarmy, female speak. Had a conversation about that with Joel not too long ago. Interesting stuff. But Ramaswamy 2024 said he wanted to stand out, and he did stand out, I gotta say. So I do want to get into this a little bit here. Amazing things. I mean, abortion was like what? In Ohio and where else? There's all sorts of elections, no? It was election night, they said. At least the Skim did. Abortion on the ballot in Ohio, governorships, legislative races. And they're saying the GOP lost. GOP lost big time. Abortion, Trump. It's a party of losers. You keep hearing this. You may have heard this. Maybe you don't see it. But there's a lot of losing happening. But you wonder, right? How do we fix things? How do we fight? They're saying it's okay to kill babies. They're saying it's okay to be trans, etc. How do you vote? How do you make sense of it all? Well, there's some discerning moments in the debate last night. Nick's still rolling with Vivek, just in secret now. How do we fix things? Will an election do it? Will an election fix things? Not necessarily. But you got to understand that there's all these on the road, on the highway, they've put all these signs to mislead people. Okay? The country isn't the people's. The people's don't run it. That's really the main thing. There's some interesting discerning moments. I want to go through some of these.
Ron has yet to say that he's going to do.
Is that loud for y'all? I want to go through some of these moments on the debate. We'll be getting into it here. 888-775-3773 if you do want to call in. Let me check my audio levels here.
Opportunity for a closing statement.
Sounding pretty good. Let me see here. Shut this down.
Follow-ups will be at the discretion.
So they open it up just to get into this, you know. Their first question is about Trump. Donald Trump is the first ex-president in more than 100 years to run for the White House again, and he remains popular as his legal problems mount. Speak to Republican voters who are supporting Trump. Why should you and not him be the Republican nominee? Yet again, another debate, another moment where the star of the show is Trump. Everybody knows that he's really a standard of sorts. You got to see it that way. He's a goalpost, a standard. They're all debating from his perspective, from his framing, and the whole thing. If you notice, it's kind of all centered around this framing: the establishment versus the people. Okay, these are the enemies that Trump has revealed. Okay, and namely is the establishment versus the people. The media establishment is part of that versus the people. You'll hear in this opening here, DeSantis with his opening on his response to this question here. You know, it sounds nice, right? We're gonna need Lil Nick for this one. Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? We're doing the debate already? Okay. So let's watch DeSantis here. Let's just watch.
This one, speak to Republican voters who are supporting Donald Trump. Why should you and not him be the Republican nominee to face Joe Biden a year from now?
This country is in trouble, and the elites that have put us here, they don't care about you. They don't care that you're having to grapple with higher grocery prices or have higher gas prices. They don't care that your family's less secure because of the open border that's allowed drugs and even terrorists to come into this country. Well, I care. I am not going to sit idly by and let this country continue its downward spiral. We need leadership, and we need it now. I'll take the hits. I'll take the arrows. I'll take the slings, because ultimately it's not about me. It's about you. I will fight for you. I will make sure to lead this country's revival, and I will win for you and your family. Actions speak louder than words. We don't have time for excuses, and it's not something that we're going to be able to have all these distractions. As a veteran, I will get the job done. Now, if you look where we are now, it's a lot different than we were in 2016. And Donald Trump's a lot different guy than he was in 2016. He owes it to you to be on this stage and explain why he should get another chance. He should explain why he didn't have Mexico pay for the border wall. He should explain why he racked up so much debt. He should explain why he didn't drain the swamp. And he said Republicans were going to get tired of winning. Well, we saw last night, I'm sick of Republicans losing. In Florida, I showed how it's done. 1 year ago here, we won a historic victory, including a massive landslide right here in Miami-Dade County. That's how we have to do it. So I promise you this, as the nominee, next November, I'll get the job done.
Thank you, DeSantis. Okay.
Your time is up. Let me turn to him back.
You know, he opens it up like that. We're going to fight for you. Okay? It's about, you got to love the almost parallel to the reason they hate me, they don't hate me. It's because I'm in the way or whatever. You remember that, Trump? They're trying to get at me because they're trying to get at you, but I'm in the way. It's funny. It's just a parallel to even that whole Trump, vibe. But yet it's a little empty. How is Trump different? DeSantis, fight for us against who? Who are you fighting? And what are we up against? And the debt. He says the debt. You're going to hear Haley here in a second about the debt as well. He increased the debt, but the debt. I don't want to hear about debt from Haley, DeSantis, and you'll hear why in a second. But who is he talking about, right? There's a little emptiness to it. Let's watch more. Now it's Haley's turn, Nikki Haley.
Audience, let me turn to Ambassador Haley. Why you and not the former president?
Well, I think you look at the fact that we're almost $34 trillion in debt. 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 50% of American families can't afford diapers. 1 in 6 American families can't pay their utility bills. You have parents who are worried about what's being said or taught to their child in the classroom. There's no transparency. We have anti-Semitism all over our college campuses, and students feel unsafe. You've got an open border where terrorists can come through, and we've got wars happening all over us, and there are dangers around us. You know, everybody wants to talk about President Trump. Well, I can talk about
all up to this point, all those things are things that Trump's against, right? Nothing quite different yet. So she's like, let's talk about Trump, though.
About President Trump. I can tell you that I think he was the right president at the right time. I don't think he's the right president now. I think that he put us $8 trillion in debt, and our kids are never going to forgive us for that. I think the fact that he used to be right on Ukraine and foreign issues, now he's getting weak in the knees and trying to be friendly again. I think that we've got to go back to the fact that we can't live in the past. We can't live in other headlines. We've got to start focusing on what's going to make America strong and proud. And that's what I'm focused on doing. Let's make sure we pay down our debt. I think we need an accountant in the White House. Let's make sure that we have transparency.
That's what they need? Oh, we need an accountant. Somebody get an accountant. That's what's missing, folks. I'm sure there's an accountant somewhere in this great country, huh? We just need an accountant. I don't understand how these neocon Warhawk types get off with this whole, but the debt. And then with the same breath, go say we can't even, we got to give all the money you got to give to Ukraine and Israel. You just got to do it. You got to give them all the money. And you'll hear them, we'll get it if you watch the debate. We're not going to see this part, but they go off about Ukraine. And pretty much Haley and DeSantis, no, it was Haley and Tim Scott, both say, well, there needs to be accountability and where the money's going in Ukraine. The American public needs to know where it's going. That way they can keep supporting. They really didn't want to take away the money from Ukraine. They just said, well, it's got to keep going, but we got to prove to the American people that it's good, that we're killing Russians with it. Then they'll be okay with it. But then when asked about Israel, it's like, no questions asked. We got to give it everything. We got to do everything, all of it. So, talking about the debt here, right? So it was Ramaswamy's answer to this question that was interesting. He kind of opened it up with a bang.
In the class.
See if we can get right to it. Anybody catch it?
Classroom.
Or are you guys like whatever about this whole thing? What do you guys feel about this? The debates. Or is it whatever? Hey, what's up, Eric? Honestly, tell me how you feel in the chat. You could chat away. Because it remains fascinating because a couple of moments here. It's whatever. Yeah, I get you. But they do speak about. Anyways, let's not talk about it. Let's just watch. Vivek Ramaswamy up next.
Need to hear them. Mr. Ramaswamy, let me turn to you. Please make your case. Why should you be the nominee and not the former president?
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party.
Oh,
you think
dang.
the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𒔔 to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, I mean, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation?
Oh, dang.
Answer the question. Go.
Mr. Roberts.
Uh-oh.
This is how we get our country back. We need accountability because this media rigged the 2016 election.
Oh.
They rigged the 2020 election with the Hunter Biden laptop story.
Mr. Ramaswamy.
And they're going to rig this
Ramaswamy.
election.
Your time is up.
Accountability.
Let me turn
Somebody
to
top him.
Governor Christie. Why
Somebody stop Ramaswamy. Is that an American anchor baby, folks? Uh-oh. Is that an American anchor baby? Are we seeing an anchor baby? Because, look, that's some Trump energy. You know, he talked about, it was his speech on the establishment and their push for a war in Iraq and how they knew about the weapons of mass destruction. You just don't talk like that. You just don't talk in that way. In that standout kind of way. The ladies at the Skim admonished Ramaswamy for being different, for being a little different here. But this is kind of what I mean to with DeSantis. Like who DeSantis, who is it that you're talking about? And you got to love it here. I mean, it's just clear. Because the sickness that Ramaswamy's talking about, it goes deep. It goes deep. This sickness has levels. And he's touched on a level that people can understand here. And it's that Republican voters are not in control of the party. Republican voters are not, it's not like the government by the people. That's just not true. Corrupt media establishment. What does that mean? What does that even mean? And you heard Ramaswamy say, getting our country back. This is what it's going to take to get our country back. Like, what would it take? Like, really consider that for a second. And on this level, before we get even deeper, because it goes deep, this sickness goes deep. It goes back to Adam and Eve, folks. But Ramaswamy here is saying this is how we get our country back, calling out this corrupt media establishment, which has a whole, it's in cahoots, a matrimony with the government, the establishment. He's talking about 2016. We never really got to find out, put it to bed, right? If it was or wasn't. So, but wouldn't you want to? Like if you were honest, fair people, a fair government, etc., and you had voters who, a significant amount of them who wanted a transparency, wouldn't you figure things out if everything's on the up and up, right? I'm not here saying it wasn't, because we don't know. And but there was some weird stuff. We saw that. the Twitter files that comes to mind recently, but other stuff where intelligence agencies were literally manipulating stories, news stories for political purposes, okay? Messed up stuff. And so you start here. I mean, this is one place to start. Throwing off these shackles here, corrupt media establishment. Because the people are retarded. The people are retarded. Will they forgive, Nick? Will the people forgive? How do you get your country back? Well, will they forgive? Here's the thing, folks. We got to have love. And it's like, that's a lost all meaning, but here's an example. A loving government. like it's not about every single person. Not everyone's going to wake up. The road is wide to destruction. But I think there's a lot of people who see the upcoming election, Trump, this whole saga, and everything that's been going on, there is a hand. It's a spiritual battle. It truly is. And in this spiritual battle, there's the forces of good and evil. The hand of God is in here somewhere, folks, right? People want to say, well, yeah, that's God putting Trump here, this or that. I don't know if we know. But there is a grand battle here. And I think people in some level see a little bit of what I'm talking about. That it's not a fight in Ohio over abortion. That is not but that is deeper. It's all a little bit deeper. That it's the corrupt media establishment and evil people, evil hearts, actual devil stuff. So I think people are seeing that a little bit. They see this as a little bit more existential. Anyways, so the sickness goes deep. I mean, you see how empty it was when the others were saying anything there? Didn't really get at anything. And I want to we'll try and attempt to get at something here too. But we got a couple more moments here to watch. Thank you, John Kano. Appreciate that. I've never seen your name. Thank you. La la la. I disavow that last part. Oh, yeah. For the sake of my channel. You guys are funny in my chat. You can be in my chat if you're on YouTube, Rumble, DLive. You can chat away with the chatters. What's up, Hansivo? Thumbs up emoji with that Rumble rant. Appreciate the support. So we got more of this to watch. See if we can understand a couple more things here. Fascinating moments here. Was there anything more with this one? I may have cut it off early.
Audience, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Let's let the candidates speak. Governor Christie, why?
Blah, blah, Christie. Yeah, boring. Honestly, the next question was, as president of the USA, they asked, what would you tell, because they did focus a lot on the war, Israel, foreign policy. The next question they asked them was, as president of the United States, what would you tell Bibi Netanyahu? And of course, pretty much the responses went alongside like, yeah, we're with him all the way, and eradicate Hamas. Give him what's for. Can't disagree there. I mean, military reality. But there was someone who stood out. Let's watch.
Islamic terrorism, and we need to make sure that we have their backs in that process.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Ramaswamy. Mr. Ramaswamy, any daylight between you and the candidates we just heard on this issue on what you would tell the Prime Minister?
Not in terms of what I would tell the Prime Minister, no. In fact, I would go one step further. The founding vision of Israel was based on the idea that they don't want to depend on anybody else's sympathy or direction in defending themselves. So what I would tell Bibi is that Israel has the right and the responsibility to defend itself. I would tell him to smoke those terrorists on his southern border, and then I'll tell him as President of the United States, I'll be smoking the terrorists on our southern border.
Smoking them.
That's his responsibility. This is our responsibility. That's how we move forward. But I want to be careful to avoid making the mistakes from the neocon establishment of the past. Corrupt politicians in both parties spent trillions, killed millions, made billions for themselves in places like Iraq and Afghanistan, fighting wars that sent thousands of our sons and daughters, people my age, to die in wars that did not advance anyone's interests, adding $7 trillion to our national debt. And Joe Biden sold off our foreign policy. Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, got a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. That's why we're sending $200 billion back to that same country. The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first, or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr.
In which case we've got two of them on stage tonight.
Ramaswamy, thank you.
The heel comments are coming out. Crazy. Spicy stuff here. Ramaswamy basically said 2 Dick Cheneys with heels. Is he talking about DeSantis? Was he throwing a double jab there? Haley, neocon warhawk Haley. Dick Cheney with heels. Who's the second one with heels? DeSantis, I guess. I mean, pretty spicy. This, you might think, oh, that's rude, that's mean, but he's calling out what DeSantis wasn't. He's like, what are we up against? What are we up against here? Well, politically speaking, the Republican voters and the people, really the American people at large, from what I could tell, don't really have a say, a significant say. Not only that, we're up against, that's like what we're up against politically, and then the people are demoralized. It's like they can't even know. They're below a certain level of morality and a higher level thinking to even be aware of what's going on. You understand? So, pretty rich. What was it? What was I saying here? Oh, yeah. You got to call it out. That's awesome. Pretty interesting. Oh, I see the calls coming in. I'll get to y'all. 888-775-3773. And this whole thing, it's like Israel, the West, and all this whole connection here. Because what was he saying? He was saying something about, I would tell Bibi, well, they got to handle their own stuff. We got to handle our own thing. I mean, shout out to the only candidate there who sounds like he wants to run for America. Now, it's an interesting question because it would mean sending Americans to go fight in a war. And I don't think a lot of us really know about the grand game, the grand scale of things. What I mean is, they say this is a war out there that will come here. Fight it out over there. This war against Islam or this war against Islamic extremism. And I don't know how all that's supposed to go. I don't think a lot of us know. But to pretend we have, to just assume we have to do something and have friends out there, that's not you can't just have that assumption, okay? Anyways, I'm not saying anything there. Let's move on. They talked about the Jewish students and the anti-Semitism in the schools. This part was really interesting. Let's just get to this. They're talking about anti-Semitism in the universities as of late. You know, you've seen these protests, Hamas protests. Well, they asked them about this very question. Let us watch the footage.
Final question from Matthew Brooks of the Republican Jewish Coalition. Please watch.
Jewish students across the country are threatened and under attack. What do you say to Jewish students on college campuses who feel unsafe given the dramatic rise in anti-Semitism? And what do you say to university presidents and college presidents who have not met the moral clarity moment to forcefully condemn Hamas terrorism?
Mr. Ramaswamy, would you like to take that one?
Absolutely. I think the scourge of anti-Semitism across this country, including at places like my alma maters and places like Brooklyn Bridge in New York, it's sad to see, but here's what history teaches us. Anti-Semitism is a symptom of a deeper cancer in a country and a society that is lost, and we are lost. Several years ago, when I wrote my first book, Woke Inc., I was talking about they were chanting death to America, death to white people, death to Christians. Nobody was waking up back then. Now it's bad. Now they're saying death to Israel and worse. So it is wrong, but we have to get to the root cause here. Now, I think it's really important that we do this through leadership, not censorship. Leadership means fill that void with purpose and meaning. Dilute this wokeism and anti-Semitism to irrelevance. These kids, they have no idea what the heck they're even talking about when they're siding with Hamas over Israel. They are fools. But I also want to caution here, if we go the direction of Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley, with whom I respectfully disagree on this issue, pro-censorship, telling student groups to disband, mark my words, Soon they will say if you question a vaccine and its side effects, you're a bioterrorist. Soon they will say that if you show up at a school board meeting, you're a domestic terrorist. Soon if they say that 𝒔𝒐𝒄 prisoners should be released, you're an insurrectionist terrorist. So that's where this road ends. We don't quash this with censorship because that creates a worse underbelly. We quell it through leadership by calling it out. These university administrators have lost their way, and we need leadership at the top in the United States of America that restores our founding values and that has no place for this kind of anti-Semitic hate. That's where I stand while respecting our Constitution.
I mean, it's clear to me. It's like he's tackling the heart of it: hate, anger. You know what I mean? At least he's at least on the right track here. And as people reach out to me, they're like, I get what you're saying. I get what Jesse's saying. Anger, I get it. But like, how are you really gonna fix things? How are you really gonna fix stuff? Okay, how are you really gonna deal with stuff? By overcoming anger. Are you silly? And telling people the truth. And some will get it, some won't. But those people need to have enough love to speak up and take control here. You know what I'm saying? It just takes a few. And then you kind of set up things in a loving way. You let people fail. You let people go through what they got to go through. But you don't incentivize destruction. You don't no-fault divorce. Child support, all these courts against the men, destroying families. You don't hate Christianity and hate the family and hate mothers. You don't hate women right? And you don't really need, on all these political things, the abortion in Ohio and all that, they start kind of fixing themselves, okay? Because the sickness is much deeper. The sickness goes deep. Corrupt media establishment, kind of getting to it here, Ramaswamy, absolutely. But of course it goes deeper. So that's why that's why we're voting a little bit here. That's why we're kind of paying attention to this a little bit. Because I don't know, it's not necessarily over. Like it's over as in like people are dumb and angry. But there are people there. You can use those people. And Trump is the kind of person who makes people work. And you know what I'm saying here? And there's a chance to shake off the corruption in the government, in the media. And there's a chance to kind of set up things so that people may find a more decent way of life naturally. Right? You kind of shape things. Anyways, what did I want to show you next? Ramaswamy. I think there's one more moment I want to show you here, and then we'll move on. I do have calls. I will get to calls here. Let's just watch this because maybe it'll jog my memory here, what I want to say.
Of keeping our military home.
Oh, yeah, this was about Ukraine here.
And that's good news.
Thank you. Stand on more funding.
I'm absolutely
persuaded by President Zelensky's urgent new plea. Where do you stand on more funding?
I'm absolutely unpersuaded. And I'm actually enjoying watching the Ukraine hawks quietly, delicately tiptoe back from their position as this thing has unwound into a disaster. The first half of this race, I was the only person standing for it. Now they're actually quietly coming around to being more cautious as they should. Level with the American people here. Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. It has consolidated all media into one state TV media arm. That's not democratic. It has threatened not to hold elections this year unless the U.S. forks over more money. That is not democratic. It has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, the comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky, doing it in their own ranks. That is not democratic. More facts for you that you won't hear from the mainstream in either party or the mainstream media. The regions of Ukraine that are occupied by Russia right now in the Donbass, Luhansk, Donetsk, These are Russian-speaking regions that have not even been part of Ukraine since 2014, that other people probably couldn't name those provinces for you. Those are the hard facts. And so to frame this as some kind of battle between good versus evil, don't buy it. And I'd like the likes of the sharpest of the war hawks on Ukraine, Nikki Haley, to have some accountability and answer. Do you want to use U.S. taxpayer money to fund the banning of Christians?
Dang.
That is actually what's happening. They're using the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. They have banned them. The Ukrainian parliament just did this last week, supported by our dollars. And I think you owe it to the American people, Nikki, to at least this one time at least condemn.
Thank you. That's time.
At least to
Mr.
condemn
Ramaswamy,
their banning of Christians.
Mr. Ramaswamy, thank you. Mr. Ramaswamy, thank you.
Well, Haley, well.
We ask the questions.
We ask the questions here, Mr. Ramaswamy, says the lady.
Ambassador Haley, what is your take on more funding for you?
She doesn't really answer that question about the banning of the Christians here. Fascinating little point there. I mean, it speaks to pretty much everything kind of what I've been saying here. Demoralized people can't discern. The media tells them the good guys and the bad guys. And that same story seems to be playing itself out over and over again with the media, really. Whether it was Black Lives Matter, Republicans, Democrats, Ukraine, Russia, and they got the people like this. So that's one thing there. But what was I saying there? Oh, yeah. It brings it back to us. It brings it back to the GOP in America and Republican voters. We're having this debate. They're having this debate over being the nominee for the president of the United States. So it puts things into perspective here. And they're saying they're banning Christians in Ukraine. I heard something about that they're doing that in Israel. Banning of Jesus or Christians. You can't go with things that you just hear. But you got to understand, when you put it in context, what are the people, American public, being goaded into supporting? Because we're talking about fighting, right? We're talking about like people going there to fight, Americans. So it gets a little different for me. Interesting point there. I mean, what else did I want to say about that? But the sickness, I mean, it goes deep. He's talking about Christianity. He called out Ronna McDaniel, who's kind of who's the chair, Ronna McDaniel running things, the chairwoman of the Republican Party. The sickness goes deep. I mean, the woman leading thing, the whole woman leading thing, that's how dead Christianity is. I don't know if people really see this. Cernovich had this thing. Mike Cernovich, okay? Comments on political stuff, okay? He put out a poll asking about Christianity. Is it primarily masculine or feminine? What an interesting question, an interesting conversation there. Asking the public, is it primarily masculine or feminine? And now most people, they're saying it's masculine, but it all came from his question here. He's saying, Christianity is a feminizing influence on the cruelty of men. That's why it's hard to be a Christian. Who wants to forgive people? Pray for your enemies. The masculine impulse is Genghis Khan, not Christ. How is this not obvious? And so, you know, Ramaswamy, he's right about the corrupt media. Anyways, but the sickness is also with the Christians, okay? That's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. And we have, people are calling love. Like, things got really confused, okay? Love and masculinity. Nurture became a motherly thing. Nurture is like a female motherly thing. Peace. Anger and violence are masculine. They're male masculine things. Things got confused. And emotion, it's all about emotion. If we just didn't have, if Americans didn't have emotions over Gaza, Israel, or anything, we'd be fine. There wouldn't be an issue. Pretty much. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Would be no issue. emotions. They're evil. Okay. So, anyways, I do want to get into this a bit. Christianity, feminine. How did love and masculinity get confused? They call in violence and anger masculine, and they got it all wrong. And then we got they call themselves evangelicals. Evangelical people?
By her support.
And it's a mess. We're going to get into it. I have a call, though. Ruben. Oh. I see. No, I'll take this call. Ruben, California. Can you hear me? Are you there? Let me know if you're there, Ruben.
Yeah, I'm here.
Ruben, hi.
I'm here.
What's up, Ruben? Pleasure.
Hi.
You've reached the American Anchorbaby show.
How you doing?
All is well. How can I help you?
I've been going through some stuff, and my son, he gave me this number to call, and he said, "Hey, call this number, Dad. You know, talk to him." He says, and then he said, "Now you can't say nobody told you." That's what he said to me.
He told you now you can't say. Do you know what you're calling?
The guy told me it's a radio show or something, a podcast or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
nice. So your son told you about it.
Yeah.
Did he tell you anything else?
Nah.
He didn't say anything else?
I'm going through? Nah. He said, call this number.
Wow.
He listens
That's so interesting.
to the JLP.
Oh, so you know.
That's who he listens to.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. He sends me little videos all the time.
So you know the videos a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So he hasn't told you anything else about I guess how to deal with whatever you're going through.
Yeah, he tells me to man up, you know. He says most of the time,
okay.
My son was an atheist for a long time.
Okay.
And he changed, and it was so drastic of a change that it threw me off, you know. But now when I talk to him and I tell him certain things, he's always like, "That's because you don't know God. You know,
really?
You're looking for this and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do know God, you know, but I just, you know, I don't know what it is about me that keeps doing all these things, you know." And I'm getting kind of worried that I'm not going to make it, you know. I don't know if I'm going to make it, man.
What kind of change did you see in your son? You said it was drastic. What was so drastic?
He got married, bought a house.
Oh, really?
He has a good job. I just had a grandson from him, born 2 days ago, and you know, I know he's going to raise his kid right, you know. And before he used to just be running around smoking weed and doing whatever, you know. He didn't really have no direction, and now he does, you know. And he's firm with what he believes. And when people try to say, hey, you know, when people say something to him, he'll just go, no, this is how it is. And that's it, you know. And he's pretty firm in his things now, and I like him for that.
Did he have a conversation with you?
Not about this, because I was in a hotel
about himself,
this morning.
About his own life.
Yeah. We talk all the time about his life. You know, he reminds me of things that we've done, and you know, and he's a good dude. You know.
Nice. What did he ever say? Did he say sorry to you or anything like that?
Yes, he did.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he did.
How'd that go?
It was weird. He said, "Hey, Dad, I forgive you." I know. When
Do you know why he did that? Go on. I cut you off. Say what you were saying.
And when he told his mom that, she freaked out because me and his mom split up a long time ago.
Okay.
And, but I remember that incident because I was like, "Hey, thank you, man. I'm sorry too." You know, and he was like, "No, I'm just letting you know, Dad. It's okay." And I was like, it tripped me out. And that's when he did that. It was a couple of years ago when he did that. That's changed our whole relationship because now me and him just talk, you know, and we have conversations. And he's a man, you know, and that's what he tells me. That I'm a man now. Don't you know, like, don't call me your little boy and this and that. Nice. He's like, I'm not a boy, Dad, you know. And we had an argument about that when he started doing that. I was like, you'll always be my little boy. And he's like, no, I'm not. I'm not a little boy. Yeah, so
Makes
I learned
sense,
a lot from him, actually. Yeah. Was
it hard to let that go?
Nah, it was easy.
Nice.
You know, I respect him.
Right on. So why do you think he, like, it sounds like you have some idea. You've seen some of the videos, JLP. Why did he come and forgive you?
He said, I don't remember. It was, you know, like I said, it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly what he said. I just know he did, you know. And I know he doesn't have any, because I put my kids through some shit, you know, when I was younger. And, you know, I don't know what it is. If he would have stayed on the same path, I would have probably blamed myself, you know, because my older kids, I was living different. And then my younger kids, I changed. And my two youngest ones are in the military, and the youngest one just left. She turned 18 and joined the Navy, so we had an empty house. But I could see the difference in the way I raised my 3 from my first wife and the 2 with my wife now, you know, and it kind of makes
so
me
the
feel
2 with
guilty.
the wife now, the 2 that you raised with the wife you have now are in the military. And
Yeah,
you
both
said you
of
put your other ones, the other 3 with the other wife, one of them is the one that forgave you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you said you put those 3 through some stuff?
Yeah, you know, I wasn't there for them, going to jail. I went to prison, you know, running around, you know.
And they
so
have issues too? The first 3?
Yeah, well, all 3 of them started to, but Ruben's the only one that came out of it, you know, and he's doing his own thing. And But the other 2, yeah, they got issues. Yeah, they do.
And what did Ruben do different?
He found God.
You said you found God.
Yeah, I know God.
What's that mean?
I know what God wants of me.
And what's that?
He wants me to stop drinking.
Is that the problem you're going through?
Myself. Yeah, I just lost my house. Me and my wife split up. She caught me cheating on her, and so we split up, sold the house, and now I'm renting a room. I'm just
this is with the new wife?
Yeah, my wife. We've been together 20 years.
So I guess things weren't as, and I don't mean to be so glib, but I guess things weren't as hunky-dory with the second one either.
Nah, no.
So has Ruben said anything about, you've talked to Ruben about, you're saying you're drinking and all that?
Not really. No, I haven't had a serious conversation with him because it's just getting real bad.
So why is he telling you need to find God and stuff?
When I used to go to church, I got clean and sober for 10 years, and I used to go to church, and that was the best time of my life. And I know that that's where I'm supposed to be.
And where was that? In church?
When I used to go to church, and I used to, and I was clean and sober for 10 years, and I was able to go back to school, got my bachelor's in social work. I'm working on my master's actually right now. But I had to do a leave of absence because of the problem. And then my job, I'm on leave right there now, too, because of it. And it's just like I wake up, man, and I'm like looking around going, what the hell did you just do, man? Why? What are you doing? You know, I wake up in hotels and stuff, and it just trips me out.
So you're trying to get your bachelor's, but you're drinking.
No, I got my bachelor's.
But you're trying to get some other kind of training or education, and you drinking, find yourself and stuff. You're home. Yeah. And you haven't talked to Ruben about it, but he hasn't. But he's saying you got to find God so that you can return to that time when you were working your stuff out better. That's why he's telling you to find God.
But I don't know if he's saying return to it. He's just saying, you know, so my life will get better. You know. So
he's aware that your life's not better.
Oh yeah. You know, that's why he told me to call this number. I mean, he might have just been like, hey. I don't want to hear you whining no more, you know. Just
he's telling, he's telling like don't want like because you keep telling him about it, you keep calling him about it.
Yeah, I was texting him this morning, and you know, I was in a room, and I was stuck in my head, and I was getting a little like suicidal. I was like, man, I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah,
you know, and I was reaching out, and he goes, I just call this number.
So you were suicidal. You were thinking about stuff, and when you get like that, you reach out to your son. And what does he tell you?
No, that's the first time I told him that.
Oh. He didn't tell you anything about thoughts? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, yes, he did.
And anger?
Yeah, he said you are not your brain or something. He said you're not your thoughts. That's not you. He brings that up a lot. He goes,
what do you think about that?
Thoughts, man. I understand what he's saying, and the class that I go to, they actually told me, you know, because it's a program and they do some type of science stuff, you know. So they were like, what happened to you, what's going on with you, Ruben, is that you've been drinking for the last 5 years. Your brain has been rewired to think negatively, and it thinks that alcohol is a survival you need it for survival. It's actually taking over your brain. Like, you know, you will choose alcohol over food. And I'm like, and you need food to survive. And so I was really thinking about it, and I go, my thoughts are messed up, man. I think, you know, all these things every day, every morning I sit there and it's like, oh, you're a loser. You lost your family. You lost your house. You're about to lose your job. You know, your wife don't talk. You know, all these negative things keep going through my head. And I'm like,
and those doctors told you it's
true.
because the alcohol rewired your brain to want more alcohol?
Yep.
Why would you call yourself a loser? Why wouldn't you just say, go drink more?
I'm just saying, yeah. I'm just saying that's what just happens. You know, I don't know.
But
I don't know why.
Have you thought about it a little bit? If your thoughts were, if they're telling you your thoughts are this way because they got rewired because you just want more alcohol because of all the drinking, why are the thoughts telling you you're a loser? Why don't they just repeat, drink more, drink more? You know what I mean? Why are they going with loser? You're a loser. Why do they say all this other stuff?
I don't know. If I knew that, I wouldn't do it.
And it sounds like, yeah, that's a good point too. If you knew that, it sounds like what these people told you. I mean, it didn't help.
No, it just kind of woke me up. Matter of fact, I just learned this this week.
True.
It's a pretty good program, but I just learned it, and it's got me really thinking about things. You know, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm kind of like
so you've heard a little bit about this anger, about the thoughts, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, do you know about forgiveness?
Yeah.
So you actually know a little bit about all this. That anger is evil. Do you see that that's the different thing that your son is doing? He's not listening to the thoughts. He's decided to forgive because anger is evil.
Yeah.
Is that clear that that's what your son is doing? Different?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they told me. They said the reason why you have such a hard time is because you can't forgive yourself. You know, you need to learn to forgive yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah, a little bit. But where the rubber meets the road is the thoughts. Okay, everybody who's like an angry person, they go along with the thoughts they have. And that's their whole life. Am I making some sense here? It's your whole life. You actually get excitement out of all the mess you're going through. I mean, it sounds like your son has told you before the thoughts are lies.
Yeah.
And to forgive. But you can't help but like reach out to him and tell him your problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
Hello? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, so maybe consider taking his advice, like, dude, about maybe not listening to the thoughts. He seems to be somewhere on the right track here. And you definitely got to talk to Jesse Lee Peterson. You've seen his videos, right?
Yeah, he might. Yeah, he might start
talking. What is it about his videos
and
message that is there anything about his videos and message? Can you briefly say that speaks to you?
Something, you know, about having a father. You know, I just remember him talking about dads, and you know, and I guess my son even tells me that that's what you're looking for, because you know I don't have a dad. You know, and I've never had a dad, so you know he tells me that's what you're looking for, but you know, just it's with God. I think he said, you know, and so sometimes when I see people like that on them videos, when I see Jesse on them videos, kind of intimidates me because I know he's going to talk to me like a dad, like a real dad would, right? You know, and you know it just kind of makes me nervous. So, you know, I'm not used to it.
Okay. Well, consider it, man. How'd you lose your house?
We decided to sell it because we split up.
Oh, okay. So you're not like you're not like thrown out into the street or something, like you just kept drinking, you didn't go to work, and you lost your house.
Yeah. Well, we sold it, because I actually got caught cheating on her, and so she was like, as soon as Naomi goes to the military, we're going to sell the house. And I was like, okay, you know, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I got a bunch of money on me, and that's not a good thing, you know, when I'm drinking. And, you know, and I rent a room. I got a place to live. I got a job still, you know, got a bunch of new clothes, you know, because I get drunk and go on spending sprees, like, you know, and, but so I'm all right, you know, I'm just a little lost, you know.
Mm. But, you know, all that's not like the problem. You know what I'm saying, Ruben?
My thoughts.
You know what? You know this is the thoughts.
It's my thoughts. Well, that's what I'm getting from you. You know, it's starting to resonate now. You know, it's starting to sink in.
Maybe a little bit. Hey, just check out Jesse. Definitely call him. You know what the silent prayer is? Check it out, man. www.silentprayer.video.
Okay.
This will be a good starting point in dealing with the thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot, okay? Just check it out.
Okay.
That'll be a good starting point with the thoughts. Dealing with your immediate situation without having to reach out to someone, without having to freak out, without having to panic about some thought telling you you're stupid or you kill yourself or I don't know what. Start with this. Yeah. Start with this, man. Start with the silent prayer. www.silentprayer.video, okay?
Okay.
And you could call the office. You can call the office 323-782-1980 if you need to set up a counseling with Jesse. If it's urgent, you really got to talk to him. Man, you can feel free to call too, Monday through Friday, this same number, but try earlier, between 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. That way you'll get to talk to Jesse.
Okay.
Okay? Start with the silent prayer, man.
Yeah, I will.
Those
like
thoughts
I said,
are lies. You know, you're
too.
thinking it's your wife. You're this stuff that it has nothing to do with anything outside of you. You tried with 2 different women. You're saying your sons went the wrong way. Your children went the wrong way, but one is going a different way. He forgave, and he's deciding not to listen to the thoughts. Okay, so start there, Ruben.
All right.
And sincerely call Jesse. Okay, either Monday through Friday between 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. This same number, or 323-782-1980 to set up counseling, man.
All right.
I wish you well, sir.
Hey, thank you.
No problem.
All right, bye.
Fascinating. People are looking for stuff, man. People are looking for stuff. That's pretty cool. His son, I was wondering if his son's like, I can't help you, man. Like, you got to reach out to Jesse. You got to reach out to Jesse, man. I can't help you. Stop calling me. I wonder if his son told him about anger. I mean, it sounds like he might have. I notice a lot of people get scared. I don't know. They like learn the truth and they don't want to tell their family and friends. I have people tell me too. It's like, why would I want to go tell people the truth? Like, because I thought you loved them? What the? Anyways. You know, you could stop. You know, you want to stop something? It's quite easy. This might sound ridiculous, but follow me. You just got to, like, first of all, you got to really want to. First of all, you got to really want to change something. And then it's quite simple. You could train yourself. It's like a muscle. It's like you could literally train yourself. It's all about like a sensitivity training. You get right up to the thing that you're trying to stop, and you have an awareness, and you look at yourself, and you just get right up to it, and you just don't do it, but you feel that feeling. You can literally train this. This is how easy this is. And you go right up to it, but you don't do it. Sometimes you're going to do it. Sometimes you're going to fail, and you got to really not judge yourself. But you go right up to the thing that you're trying not to do, and raw emotion, feel it all, but don't do it. Feel the pain. You literally can train this. It's really quite, first you got to want to. What's difficult What Jesse's talking about, what's difficult is being free of the whole thing. You don't got to train being free of the whole thing. And what you don't understand is you can't do that. You can't train yourself. You can't make it happen. You can't make it happen. You have to be freed by God. And if he hasn't, if you're not, don't trip. It's not over. Just chill. I have anger. I got angry. It's over. I thought I didn't have anger. Stop that back and forth anger. Stop doing that. It doesn't mean God's not working on your life, okay? Doesn't mean he's not working on you. Don't trip. But you could train yourself. You'll just pick up a different addiction. You know what I mean? You'll just let out the tension somewhere else. But you could train, I want to stop drinking. You can train yourself. You'll pick up something else. You know what I mean? You'll whack down that mole somewhere. But you could do it. If you really wanted to, number one. Some people are, you do something for so long. I don't know what to tell you. You need Jesus. You need God. So you do something for so long, you can't even do the training and the brute forcing and you know what? Actually, I'd rather a job and looking this way than drinking. No, you literally just love drinking so much or whatever you're into. You just love it so much, you're just not going to let it go. The only way out of the whole gambit, the rat's race, is God. You need to overcome anger. You need to be born again. So, for the rest of us, you could do it. You just got to really want to. You just got to desensitize, okay? You got to get right up to the thing and feel the pain and don't do it. And you might do it sometimes, but it's 888-775-3773, Harmony. Am I making sense? It's like a challenge. It's like a muscle you could build. Or you can overcome it all. Yep. You feel me? You guys saying you wouldn't have the patience for a call like that, but here you all are. Gotta go sober first. He wasn't? Or are you guys just saying that? Was he sober? I think he was sober. He sounded like it. Anyways. That's how you stop that. I have a bunch of links under the heading evangelical. Why did I put this note for myself? I think I made a note because it was interesting.
Port of Israel.
For the Palestinian.
I made a note for myself to check this out. Maybe it's interesting.
Christians who would say to you, we are actively being oppressed by the state of Israel. What do you say to them?
I would say, take a look at the scriptures and love them and be a blessing in any way you can, even if you're being persecuted. What did Jesus say? He said, turn the cheek.
Do you think they should love their oppressor?
I don't believe that Israel is oppressing them.
It's clear to me that God is not pleased with the occupation. God weeps over the situation of Palestinians. God weeps over the people who lose their lands. God weeps over the children who are killed every day. We need our Christian sisters and brothers to realize this and to help us.
That's so interesting. God weeps over the Palestinians. Who thinks God weeps? Yes, love the oppressed. Who thinks God weeps over the Palestinians? That glizzy is jacked. Are you talking about our little hot dog friend here? Thank you, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. He sent me a little hot dog guy right over here. Thinks the God weeps over the Palestinians. God doesn't weep, period. Yeah, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔, I think I kind of with you on that. But Jesus wept. Yeah, because this is kind of what I mean about a shallow understanding of love. Why would God weep for people whom his love is available to? It's not like you know what I mean? Like, this is maybe strange because I'm just speaking out of my, like, I'm just trying to use my life and kind of like logic here a little bit. That's how I like to think of God. Like he'd be a dad, right? And so, and a logical one at that. Not all emotional and female. So, Dad said, okay, you could be like, hey, be like this, have some love, and you'll be A-okay. And then the kids fight. I told him. Why would he then weep? I think God is closer to Jesse's depiction of him sitting and laughing at you with a cafe mocha. Yeah. Well, pretty much. Isn't moved enough to intervene or do anything. I think that's fair. That's pretty much a good way of putting it. Everything is fake. It's just a strange way of describing God, I think. Why would he weep when everything's there available? It's not like he's keeping something from them or they're being... Anyways, I mean, I'm not making sense, but it goes along with Cernovich's thing I was talking about earlier. Christianity feminine. Okay? We got it all confused on love and masculinity. We had a call there, Ruben. We just had Ruben on the air talking about, well, he can't stop drinking. But even in just a few minutes talking to him, you know, his world, I don't know if you guys could tell, in just a few minutes, he kind of described his world a little bit. And what he saw his world is, and it's falling apart, right? It's his kids and his wife and his house. But anyways, I'm thinking of Job. I'm thinking of true love here. I'm thinking of the things that would keep you solid despite all that falling apart, right? And nurture and all that became feminine. They call it feminine. They say anger and violence is masculine. But that's kind of the sickest, the deepest of sicknesses. That Christianity got that all wrong. Cernovich says it's feminine. The cruelty of men. Christianity has a feminizing influence on the cruelty of men. But it's actually, having love is masculine. That's actually a masculine thing. Because you have to have no anger. Because it can't be affected by what anybody says. Nobody can get at you. You see what I'm saying here? It's not emotional. Cruelty is feminine. Cruelty is actually a feminine thing. Because you have to pick and choose to be cruel. Those are my friends and those are my enemies. You know what I mean? Loving all people, that's masculine. That's a manly thing. You know what I'm saying here? I got all confused. What a mess. Anyways, what I want to show you now. Oh, yeah. Bunch of pagans. What's up with all these pagans? Don't they call this guy Jelly Roll? Is he like a Christian country music singer guy? They're having elections and all stuff. And they're having this guy. This is who we're awarding. Okay, anyways, I don't know much about him. Who cares? We're awarding this guy? I don't know who he is, but look, he's a Christian apparently.
There is something poetic about a 39-year-old man winning New Artist of the Year. I don't know where you're at in your life or what you're going through, but I want to tell you to keep going, baby. I want to tell you success is on the other side of it. I want to tell you it's going to be okay. I want to tell you that the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason, because what's in front of you is so much more important than what's behind you. Let's party now. Come on, give them glory.
I think someone added the music in. Is that Broke Malone? I think someone added the music in, to be fair. I don't think the music was here while they were doing to be fair. A little Bible Thumper Thursday. That's paganism to me. It's a bunch of like God, a bunch of nothing. Means nothing. Bunch of just soaking. Christianity. I got Steve out of Ohio. Steve, Ohio, you're on the air. Tell the people what's wrong here. Tell the people what's up here.
Look, man, I wanted to say that I love that you're very consistent with, like, your message. Like, it wraps in with Jesse's, but it's also kind of like your own flavor with the...
Hey, thank you.
Just dropping all identity, man, because, like, the big thing that you guys talk about is you can't be attached to your wife, your stuff, your things, because, like, I think I called maybe 2 weeks ago when we talked The Great Deception. You probably don't recall, but I think all of that is the Great Deception. You know, you get attached to the world, and it takes you away from God.
Yes. You're just right, man. I know that, and what you're saying there has like layers, you know. And sometimes it can be glossed over, but what you're saying is true.
Well, we constantly battle it, and that's why the silent prayer is so important, because it's like you're drinking out of the well again. If you don't refill, if it never rains, the well will never fill back up. You gotta go back every once in a while, because we're stuck in this world, but it's best to try our best to not be of it. And I just wanted to say, man, like, you're on point with it, dude. Like, you're, it's just the emo, man. Quit being emo kids.
Well, I don't think, we just don't see how deep the emotions go. They get us going in every way. And the identity thing, people ask me, oh, are you Canadian? Are you American? I kind of alluded to this a little bit. Didn't really get to go into it. Are you American? Are you Canadian? American Anchorbaby, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think, people don't see how I'm very lucky to be free from having to make that decision. I don't feel the need to have to prove that to anyone or make that decision. And I am blessed for that. I'm blessed for that, God kind of took me out of that. I don't identify with any of that. And yet, it's how I can remain, I think, a good guest and friend to all. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm a lot like you in that sense, where I'll kind of play troll on myself. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm Stinky Steve, you know, because I'm greasy and Italian. But I don't identify with any of that. But it's more or less like, hey, I'm going to break the ice, and I'll say something funny about me so you don't feel uncomfortable, because, you know, everyone else is still battling a lot harder than we are, because we kind of let our swords down already. But you still have to make the people around you comfortable too, because they just can't see yet.
Oh, you mean, I see, like
how you call yourself an
Anchorbaby, yeah.
Yeah, bro. I'm Stinky Steve. I you know, blah,
like,
blah,
it has
whatever.
that effect.
You know,
I see what you're saying. It definitely has that. It might have that effect, and it's definitely something I can definitely use. That could be used for the positive, 100%. You know, for me, it's just. Yeah. I think it really demonstrates overcoming identity, because it's like, even the name itself, American Anchorbaby, kind of an oxymoron.
Right.
And it will rub different people the wrong way. You know, if you're Anchorbaby, what, you can't call people that. That's racist. Or American Anchorbaby, what do you mean? You're not from here. It kind of brings the whole thing into question, the whole identity thing into question.
But it's awesome because it also kind of sparks conversation, and it sparks a harder conversation that people aren't willing to have. But it throws the line out for the people who are actually seeking, you know, that do want to have a conversation or debate and speculate. But I just wanted to call in and say, man, you guys are doing a great job, man. Hake had a great show today.
Thank you.
Tell them the earth's flat, but no, I just want to call in and say you're right on the head, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Call me again.
Yep, God bless you.
Nice. Yeah, I'm lucky. Like I'm telling you, I feel bad. Not really. I don't really feel bad, but I feel bad for people who think they have to make that decision. They have to decide, what am I? I'm an Anchorbaby, but where am I from? And who am I? My ancestors. Where do I come from? Who am I? They think who am I will be answered that way. They think that's how you answer the question, who am I? But I'm very lucky to be free from that. Not having to make that decision. Like I was just born in America. I was moved to Canada. You know what I mean? If America and Canada went to war, whose side would the American Anchorbaby pick? It's a silly question too. I mean, not only is the non-reality, we're not there. But I don't know. I mean, Nick was Anchorbabied. Nick thinking about his dual citizenship. I don't think this is controversial to talk about. This is my thing. I don't think this is controversial to realize, okay, there are people who have, feelings about where they're from and all that. And I don't think it's wrong to say, I think my position is correct. I have a Canadian citizenship, but why would I ever vote in American politics thinking internally anywhere, I'm doing this for Canada? Why would I ever think that way? That doesn't make sense. I think that's a controversial thing to talk about. He's not the Canadian Anchorbaby, exactly. Who do you think I'm going to war for? The cooler country. Exactly. I'm the American Anchorbaby. Who do you think I'm going to war for? Why would America and Canada go to war? If I got the draft papers in the mail. I mean, it depends. What's going down here? Let's say, in this hypothetical, has Canada risen up to be some kind of true Christian nation? That's how I know this guy's still young. I used to do that all the time. Make-believe situations of who I would have to fight for. Yeah, maybe I haven't even totally overcome identity. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight. That'd be a fight amongst brothers. What do you guys want to guess Anchorbaby to fight your war for, huh? If we're getting real. Bunch of brothers, except it wouldn't even be brothers. It'd be like, I don't know, Sikh, Indian occupied government up in Canada. Sikh, it'd be like Sikh Indian. And a little bit of Métis. And a little bit of French Canadien. Have we already discussed the hip-hop glizzy action figure? Yes, a little bit, very briefly. But it is real. It's like, has Canada joined some kind of, did it get taken over by all these Indian and Chinese? Have they now, is it now BRICS? Is it now BRICS? China and Canada? BRICCS? Oh, I don't know, folks. I mean, it kind of becomes clear. I'm fighting with NATO globalism, obviously. Duh. I'm fighting the globalist war. We're gonna lose all our stuff if we let those commies win. Yeah, we might deal with the satanic American establishment, but who's gonna take over in that vacuum? You want BRICS to take over in that vacuum? We're gonna lose our TikTok though. We're gonna lose our OnlyFans. We're gonna lose our... He thinks BRICS are the commies, LMAO. Why? Are we the commies? Is this a Hans situation? Hans, are we the baddies? Hans, are we the baddies? Are we the bad guys? What do you mean, Charlie Church? Wait, we're the commies? What if ethnats took over? Would you side with the Browns or what? What if America became segregated into race? Where would you go? That type of stuff. See, this is the kind of things that you got to it'd be kind of fun to think about a little bit, but nothing about that is linear. it's kind of contingent on a couple things, okay? If the ethnots took over, if we're suddenly somehow, which that's kind of important here, how did this even come about? But let's say, snap of a finger, ethnots get to decide, hey, we're carving up America. We're carving it up, and we're taking all of this, and the whites get to live here, and I don't know, something like that. It sounds like I wouldn't get to decide everything is fake, and I've said this before. The Americans, the sons of America, white people, European Christians, they got to take over their country. And let's say they go ethno with it. Then let them decide. If that's how it goes, right? I mean, it wouldn't be up to me. It's like, that's just how it went. That's just how it goes. Then it's up to them. I mean, shouldn't they get at least one chance to decide what they want to do with all of us? It's like, the sovereignty goes back to the people. First, the sovereignty goes back to Americans. And then they decide what to do. You feel me? Sovereignty goes back to the people. Governed by the people, all that whole thing. New York-based Sikh coalition said the correct pronunciation is Sikh. Sikh. That's true. I heard a lot of Sikh, even up in Canada, but I've heard this as well, that it's pronounced Sikh. Sikh. Whatever. Sovereignty goes back to the people. Mass deportations, if it's got to be that way, it's got to be that way. But what else were you saying here? What if America became segregated into race? Where would you go? I don't know. But that's like, I don't know, fantasy stuff. I understand the sentiment, right? It's like they've been letting all these people, all these immigrants, they're letting them become Anchorbaby citizens, getting to vote and have a say on their lives, people who've been there for a long time, their children, da-da-da. So I understand the sentiment. People want to shake that off and be like, no, this is our country. We get to decide. So I understand the sentiment. I just have to, I got to stay true, folks. I just know that anger is evil. I know you got to forgive. I know Jesus, forgiving the Son is the way to the Father. Those are the things that are just true. So even to the ethnos, to you ethnos who I understand even your plight, I would tell you the very same thing. That even with your ethno state, you still got to overcome anger. Anyways, they're hating the whites. They're hating the Christians. That's why I like what Ramaswamy was saying, and people who speak in that way. This is a good discerning moment. You don't go out there and defend white people, without it being, at least in this way, without it being like you're just not allowed to do that, okay? You're just not allowed to do that. Defending white people like that. So it's always a nice thing to see. You just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? What are you guys saying in the chats? Appreciate that. Appreciate the support there. Hansivo, thank you. Prep Ham Paul, what's up over there, Base Nation, Ohio Sentinel? Nice. The evil one uses thoughts to condemn. Oh, you guys were talking about that caller? She caught me cheating. Yeah, Prep Ham Paul. That guy who was saying he's having drinking issues. Yeah, hopefully he calls Jesse there. Definitely hope he does there. incredible. Anyways, what's going on here? I showed you all this political stuff. I showed you the Ramaswamy. I showed you Cernovich. They're saying love, masculinity. They got it wrong. They're saying Christianity is feminine. What else did I want to show you guys? What else did I want to show y'all? You know, definitely don't want to miss tomorrow's show. We got a nice show tomorrow, Friday Flight. You don't want to miss it. Nick Stream Fridays. Hit that subscription, that notification bell so you don't miss it. What we're up to. Fridays we do the flight. Tomorrow we should have one at around 4 p.m. on this channel. Rumble, Twitch, and DLive. That's what we're going to get up to. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. What do you mean, esoteric? What do I know? Is that what you do on Fridays? Is it karaoke Fridays? I'm reading my chat right now. What, you would let another man decide where you should go as an American? This land is your birthright. What do you mean everything is fake? But in this case, the ethnats took over. So it's like they decide. They're like, hey, you're looking a little swarthy. They put up the IKEA swatch next to me. I think I might pass the IKEA swatch test. But I don't know. Chicano hair. I don't know. I mean, Gonzalez. I don't know. The IKEA swatch test, I might pass it. They might look at me like, okay, yeah, he can pass. Wait, what's your name? My birthright. Nick could pass for an Italian. Yeah, that's what I mean. They kind of would be in control. My birthright. But what do you mean by my birthright? Like, because the 14th Amendment says so? I was born in America? When you see it like that, politically, the Constitution and all that, I'm a guest. And that's just a nice way of putting it. If you put it like that. I'm a guest. I don't trip about it, though. You are an American by birth. Doesn't matter about the technicality as to why. God put you there at the end of the day. I don't know. I just don't make those kinds of decisions. That God put me here. But it's the way it is. I think you could turn anything around. Didn't they say something like that in the Bible? Take all bad things, turn it good. Doesn't the Bible say something like that? I see what you're saying. Everything is fake. Liberal. I see what you're saying. Thank you. Everything is fake. He did. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. Yeah. And it doesn't require me saying it. It's kind of my point. It doesn't require me saying, well, God put me here. It doesn't require my input and my declaration or feeling about it. God put me here. I should be here. This is what I mean about being free of identity. I don't even think about that. Should I get kicked out? Then God did that too. You know what I mean? It's like a silly thing to even think about. Guys, they're going to put me in the, let's be real. They're putting me on the front. They're putting me on the front. I'm cannon fodder. American Anchorbaby cannon fodder. They're putting me on the front, folks. They're going to give me the IQ test. They're going to see that I have the part of my brain, a spatial recognition or whatever. I'm telling you, it's really advanced. I know this because I passed my driver's test the first time by myself in Canada. I know maybe it's not a good driver's test, but the Canadian driver's test is a lot more difficult than the one I did out here in California. I didn't have to do anything out here. In Canada, it's a graded test. You got to do different levels. And I parallel parked for the first time in my life at that test. I'm not going to say maybe it was the best. It was good enough to pass. So they're going to put me on artillery. They're going to put me in the front line. Just, I don't know. Just like instinctually figuring out these parabolas. You feel me? Parabolas. Just mad parabolas. Artillery. That's what they're going to do with me. Nick, you have a Christian identity. Hate to break it to you. LOL. What do you mean? Nick, you have a Christian identity. Oh. Yeah, but do you think so? I may have identified a little bit with that. But I'm really watching that because it's only kind of like a new thing in my life. I didn't really grow up like that. In fact, I had a aversion to Christianity. I saw it as fake, and I saw the people I grew up with fake about it. I turned atheist. So I don't know. I didn't really... All the Christian-y type things, I'm not really with. If that makes sense. But I may have. You should overcome it, though. Kevin Howe, do you agree with me? Should I overcome whatever Christian identity I have? Kevin Howe? I have Christ in my heart. What's Constitution can only go so far as to how much power you have to enforce it with, which is why it is being trampled on. God's authority is the ultimate power, from a logical analysis, not even religious. Well, I don't know if I'm referring to anything that you're saying here. Everything is fake, but this is another reason why I don't trip about it. If someone questions my allegiance or Americanness or whatever, because I know that being a good guest or citizen or American or whatever, like a constitution won't teach that to you. You gotta get out of that. Being a good Christian is being a good American. Whoa. Being a good Christian is overcoming thoughts and identity. Boom. There. Simple. There you go. A plus B. I'm just chatting with my chat right now. What brought you back, Nick? You mean to Christianity? I mean, what brought me back? Trump, Jesse. I mean, really, it was God. It wasn't really people, but it was like that. I saw Trump run. I've said this story before. Harmony, if you've never heard this. But basically, I saw Trump run. And I saw everybody turn on him. I thought it was evil. The only thing that made sense, I was an atheist. And the only thing that made sense is that all these people around me who never talked about Trump before, just suddenly saying, this guy's evil, crazy, but I like rabid. I'm like, you guys have never talked about politics in all these years I've known you. It's like the only thing that made sense was they got possessed. They went crazy and got possessed. It seemed like evil to me. Once I saw that, the opposite had to be true. God's evil. If evil exists, good exists. It kind of opened up the door. And that's the story. Kind of opened up the door to just thinking that there might be a God. There might be a God. The algorithm shows me Jesse. I mean, what else? I mean, the story's in there somewhere. And I just knew anger. I knew anger was evil. It made sense. I was like, no, wait, that's evil. Nick had a terrible vision of hell. He was a hot dog flying a plane that kept crashing, so he returned to God. No, that's what I do now. No, that's what I do now, Carver. All right. What the? I don't have anything. That's the show, folks. I mean, that's the show. I have nothing to say. Let's go. Let's get ready for tomorrow. Let's get ready for the Extreme Fridays. We got a nice show tomorrow. You definitely don't want to miss it. Dude looked like a beanbag. Thank you, 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. Appreciate that. Sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Yeah, I got radicalized by YouTube, pretty much. Somebody call in and talk flat earth to fill out the last 20 minutes. What's that, Harmony? 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔? I've seen people play this, I think. Deep State is coming after Steven Crowder for releasing Trans Manifesto, but he's fearlessly doubling down. I mean, what's Revolver saying? The Deep State. I mean, they're talking about the debate. We already talked about that. As World War III looms, U.S. Army shamelessly releases new recruitment ad featuring only white guys. You seen this? Just scrolling down Revolver. But that's true. People are talking about this. They're talking about this one a whole bunch. They brought out the white guys. That means they mean business. Right? That's the vibe I'm getting here. They brought out the white guys in the ad. You know, after what? After all this trans, all this stuff about.
Hi, I'm Major Rachel Jones.
Major Rachel Jones.
To me is celebrating that diversity is our strength as a nation and as an army.
Well, everyone's pointing to this one. They're saying they're getting serious. They're bringing out the big guns here. What do you guys think? Is that really the move here? Is that really the psyop? We need low recruitment, all this diversity stuff, lowest recruitment, historically low recruitment. Is that really what's going on here? Way to incentivize the white people?
Stand up!
U.S. Army. So cool.
Stand up!
So Zoomers don't want to join the war? It's like Call of Duty. Wait, is this just playing over and over? What, am I simpleton? Was I just about to play that 3 times? Am I really that simple? Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Let's just quit while I'm ahead. Oh my god. Breaking news, Tim Scott not gay, says Revolver. Breaking news, Tim Scott not gay, says the Revolver.news. Oh, is that so? Oh. Oh, so it's like a little joke. Tim Scott's girlfriend is in fact real. That's a headline from Politico. Tim Scott's girlfriend is in fact real. He's not lying, like we all thought he was.
Yeah, that's such a cautious manner in which these candidates tried to separate themselves from the frontrunner who's been dominating.
Is this a point of contention here? Is this like DeSantis' heels?
You heard them do it in a way where they basically wrapped their criticisms of Donald Trump in praise of his presidency, because they're trying to give a permission structure to his voters to say, yes, I liked him then, or I liked.
Where's the kiss? Huh?
Elements of what he did.
Oh no, I'm not gonna believe it. Nope, not until I see. I'm joking. It's just a dirty media move. No, I'm not gonna believe it. Where's the smooch, huh? Trying to look good here in front of the voters, in front of the constituents. What's going on here, huh? His GF is a man. What the? That was a what? Is this a Michael Obama scenario? You guys don't even know this lady. You don't know that? That's a woman. Oh, come on. That's like did they clone? Did they bust out the what? A Sarah Jessica Parker clone? Early model out of the GOP clone crypt? Is that like a youthful what am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Who'd they clone? Who'd they clone for Tim Scott's girlfriend? Whose DNA did they use? Whose DNA did they use to chimera Tim Scott's girlfriend? Who do you think? I'm thinking a little Sarah Jessica Parker and a little bit what's that woman's name? Monica? No. Who's Monica from Friends? Monica what's that woman's? Courtney Cox. You feeling it? That's whose DNA they took in Hollywood to chimera Tim Scott's quote unquote girlfriend. Yeah. Courtney Cox, Chris, thank you. I see it. Yep, people are seeing it. Yep. And just like that, cloning and the GOP is real. No, you don't see it? Come on. I got Miles, Minneapolis. How you doing, Miles? You're on the air. Hey, Miles, got you there?
Nick, how are you, sir?
All is well, Miles. How about yourself?
Doing well. Big fan of the show.
Hey, thank you.
I like to put it on, especially your Nick streams on Fridays. I like to put it on with my liberal girlfriend sometimes, and just kind of keep it in the background as you kind of drop in some red pills very subtly.
Nice. That gets her going a little bit. Does she ever have any questions for you?
Yeah, she pretends like she can't hear it. So she pretends like she's too busy to hear it, and she's got more important matters. But I know she does. We know she does. Eventually, it might have to come up. Yeah, it's planting the seeds, and it comes up every once in a while. But it's really about just planting those seeds in our time together. You know.
Nice. So she hasn't said she doesn't say anything about it.
She when she hears something that it'll definitely catch her off guard, and she'll react like, oh my goodness, something like that. Like she just heard something for the first time that she's never thought about. And we'll talk about it for a little bit, but it's not something we discuss for too long. Like your last stream, we had a small discussion about it, but it's okay. Yeah, everyone talks about it in their own time. You know, they might not be ready for immediate discussion on certain topics, but just planting those seeds.
How long have you guys been dating?
About a year and a half now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of serious.
Pretty steady. It's pretty steady, yeah. So, I see are you on Twitter, pulling up videos and whatnot?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, someone made a request here in the chat to bring up some proofs, talking a little flat Earth.
Or are you saying proof?
Evidence.
Okay.
Evidence.
Hit me.
Sent you a little short reel, a video that I've been looking for forever, and I finally found it. But first, I wanted to see. You see that? You see your background behind you?
Yes.
The beautiful mountain landscape. That's an example of the horizon always coming to eye level.
Okay. Help me understand.
That's an example. The person who took that photo, whatever altitude that was, right along your shoulders is the horizon.
Oh. I'm following.
And so that meeting eye level, that same position of the horizon follows the observer up at their altitude, at whatever altitude. That same landscape, that same horizon follows an observer in an airplane, in a jet, in a hot air balloon, so on and so forth.
Okay.
And that is very critical piece of a little bit of detail for when you're looking for it, for seeing that the view from the observer's position, it's always going to meet eye level, and that it's not going to significantly, the horizon isn't going to significantly drop hundreds of feet.
Should it?
It will definitely drop under your feet, right? But it won't drop from your eye level as you ascend in altitude. So 30,000 feet, 35,000 feet. When you're talking the best military planes, you're talking 40, 50, 60,000 feet in the stratosphere.
I mean, I don't know how that proves it, though, or is evidence for anything. Maybe because I'm ignorant. You know what I mean? It's not hitting. It doesn't quite mean anything to me. And if I'm just a person who's just hearing this, well, all the planes you're talking about, they all fly. Yeah, they fly up, but it's like all planes fly in like a range. Couldn't it be that from the ground all the way up to the upper ranges of most planes, that all that space in between is negligible for an observer looking at a horizon that's, I don't know, just huge and far away? This is just kind of me thinking off the top here. I don't know if what you said is supposed to hit a certain way, because it seems to me like the horizon is super far away and huge. So anywhere from the ground to flying up in the sky for quite a while, it would look like the horizon's eye level until, I guess, you leave the planet. You'd have to go really far. Or leave the flat Earth, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the horizon following your perspective, we haven't proven either way, but I don't know if that's a point. I don't know if that means if that's evidence. Or tell me how it is, I guess. I'm cutting you off.
It's evidence, and it's something to think about and mull over in your head when thinking about look compared to a large sphere, a very, very large sphere the size of Earth. With all of the technology we have now, we're able to do those simulations on computers. And when you run those visual simulations with all the data being correct, the horizon is going to drop significantly below eye level. You're going to start seeing curve. You're going to start feeling like you're getting higher and higher in space with every mile that you ascend. But the way we experience this reality on the flat infinite plane is that it looks and always meets eye level. It looks like it could go on forever because you can only see so far with the visibility in the atmosphere. But if you take a thermal camera and you start to, if you take a thermal camera and take it on a plane, you can actually see much, much farther than you can visibly see with your own eye. You can see up to 600, 700 or so miles away. And you can see mountain ranges from Utah that are in Colorado. That should be to the curvature formula. Those mountains should be beyond the curve. You shouldn't be able to see those mountains.
Okay. See, I don't know. I just don't know. So you're saying they should be beyond the curve.
It should be beyond the curve according to
You're saying you're taking a thermal camera up on a plane and you can see this?
Yes, you can take the black and white thermal camera, and they allow it on the planes, I believe. You can take the camera flying from Utah to Colorado. Utah to California. On that flight, you're going to see mountain ranges 600, 650, 700 miles away. That should be beyond the curve, even given the altitude of the airplane.
What about the ground? Can you see the ground and like stuff that's not mountains?
Yeah, of course. You can see the mountain ranges, the vast desert in between the mountains. You can see the lakes in between them. You can see everything from your eyeballs, your observer position, to the farthest mountain. You can see everything in between.
I have no response, man. Sorry. But yeah, I have no response. I don't really quite understand. I see what you're saying, that there's things we should be able to see. But like, if it's as simple as you're saying, then like, you're telling me you could just see things that should be beyond a curve. Anyone can do this.
At 50 miles distance, there should be a 150-foot drop. So anything 150 feet tall, that's 50 miles away, would be not visible to the eye. It should be, according to the calculation, the curvature calculation. But in this reality, human eyes see too far. We have cameras, we have infinite zoom. We can see ships that are gone over the horizon, zoom in, and see that they're just on top of the water level.
You know, I hear some of this stuff. I have no response, but I did want to say, like, I commonly hear some of these arguments, and I'll hear both sides, and it's like both sides, like on the Hake Report, the whole golf ball thing. Did you hear that? If a golfer hits a golf ball, by the time it drops, it should be somewhere else due to the spinning of the Earth or whatever. But because the Earth is already spinning, when you hit it, it's going as fast as the rotation of the Earth. What I'm trying to describe here is that I hear the flat earthers and the round earth people argue, and they just say they describe the same phenomena with different models, and sometimes it fits both. And you're left like, oh wow, that's interesting. But they don't have a response to each other. They don't have a response on how, well, this is why your round stuff is wrong and this is right. They just describe phenomena and it fits two different models. But they can't tell me why the other one's wrong. They can't cross the leap. This is how I know it's abstract, and I'm not giving you examples, but that's my kind of take on it. It's the only response I have for you, Miles. I can't respond. I don't have anything else to say to you, my friend. But thank you for calling the show. Anything else you want to say before we move the wheels here?
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me on. Shout out all the Globetards in the chat. flat earthers as well. And finally, to close it out, I want to say pay attention to how water lays at level. Water is the number one proof that water doesn't bend around a ball, and it always lays level and flat at rest. That's number one.
Well,
And
thank
for all
you,
the people who are hung up on gravity, it's just density and buoyancy. Gravity is just a
This is what I mean. This is what I mean about the
describe.
arguments. This is what I mean about the arguments. But you can't tell me why gravity is wrong.
Gravity is just density and buoyancy, Nick.
Yeah, but
just a term
when
to
the
encapsulate those two phenomena.
when the globe people say, well, the Earth is bending around the planet because of gravity, right, or something like that. How are they wrong about that?
Because water always lays level and flat when at rest, like in your bathtub, in your water bottle.
Right. But their answer is gravity and sticking to the ball and bending around it. What's the answer to that?
Have you ever poured water over a sphere? Has it ever stuck to the sphere that you're pouring
No, but
it
I've
over?
also never poured water around a sphere that I'm being told is so ginormous that it has a pull towards the center, et cetera, all that stuff.
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying?
You can do.
What's the answer to that?
Gravity is a force humans are trying to understand, and we use it as a term to encapsulate a lot of different phenomena happening at the same time. We just use the term gravity.
Right.
But
I'm following
anything
you.
that
But you see how the whole water is level. I'll let you finish. My apologies.
It's all good. Water is heavier than the matter around it. So it is going to stick to the bottom of where we live. It's always going to find, like a river flowing downstream, it's always going to collect downstream, going from its highest point to its lowest point, naturally. It's heavier than the medium around it. It's heavier than the air. It's heavier than gases around it. So if you take the bowling ball, it's going to sink to the bottom of the water. If you put the volleyball under the water, it's going to pop out because they both have different densities. And it just is situational based on what you're observing at the time, a bowling ball, water downstream, or a volleyball underwater.
But you don't have a planet on you to test this with gravity, whether it exists or not. Like you see as a kind of like a layman person, that's kind of, I keep going back to that, right? Like you're telling me, well, water has to act this way, but they're telling me there's a huge ball and it has the power to attract things to it. So is it that if that's what they're telling me, if that were to be true, then that's their answer to you, what you're saying. They have answered you, and they say, well, the reason the water is going around the ball is because this huge ball is exerting a force on the water.
If gravity
so
is
why
so strong,
are they wrong? I'm trying to understand what's the response to that.
Yeah, and I've discussed this with many people who are hung up on the gravity, but if gravity is so strong, how is it keeping a balloon from staying down? How is it keeping a gas like helium from going up?
Yeah.
How is it stopping a volleyball?
I guess they would say density or whatever.
Density and buoyancy. They could say that.
But if you were to let go of a helium balloon, it wouldn't go. It would only go up. It wouldn't go all the way. It would go up to like where helium goes, and stay there.
Yep. And
so
then it would
that
come
actually
down.
still fits gravity, no? Or am I misunderstanding something here?
Well, the balloon pops, reaching its maximum pressure in the atmosphere, releasing the helium, and then falling down. But if that helium remained contained in the pressure system, it's going to keep going. Everything has to exist in a pressure system. We live in a pressure system right now. That's what's keeping us alive. If we didn't live in a pressure system, most likely we would be sucked out of the Earth, out of Earth's atmosphere into space, because it's allegedly a vacuum. It's going to destroy and suck everything out of a spaceship if there's a hole in it. So why wouldn't it suck humans out of a hole in the atmosphere into space? It's only possible if we live in a pressure system.
No, joke. Well, thank you, Miles. Things to think about, huh? Call me again sometime.
I will. I sent you a short little video. Review that on your own time, will you?
Will do, sir. Call me again.
Thanks, Nick.
Nice. All right, folks, that's the show. Call me tomorrow. Hit me up tomorrow. Super chats tomorrow. We got a flight tomorrow. Don't miss it. 4 p.m. around there. We'll be taking off. And it's a flight. And we do love it, okay? So hit me tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. Or shall I say Nick Stream Fridays should be fun. Kick back, relax, do our whole thing Friday. All right, y'all. Thanks. Thank you. And I bid you farewell. Okay, folks. Peace. See you tomorrow.